Delta really has given up on customer service. They have previously been a decent airline, probably one of the better domestic airlines in the United States. But because of staffing issues and the current management that is at Delta, customer service is no longer a priority. My name is John, and I'm a frequent flyer with Delta Airlines. I'm a Million Miler Platinum member, and I've been so for years. I've spent not tens of thousands, but hundreds of thousands of dollars with Delta over the years. I'm actually close to 2 million miles flying them. So imagine how many times that's like 300 times around the world. And my wife and I had planned for her 60th birthday, which got delayed because of COVID, a major Italian trip, flying first class to Italy, to Rome, and everything was good. Checked in on time at JFK. They made us actually take a flight to Boston, which actually was the same aircraft, and then from Boston, fly to Rome. Delta Airlines, because they were so understaffed, did not load my bag on that plane, nor did they connect it on a Delta flight that would have actually still connected to my plane up in Boston, and instead put it on Alitalia Airlines, their partner, SkyTeam partner, and knowing that Alitalia was actually going out of business in 15 days and was on strike in Italy. My bags never arrived there, were lost for the entire trip. They made no effort to find it whatsoever, none. And I know that for a fact because what I'm going to tell you later. And the real big problem was because airlines can lose luggage. They are so understaffed that they made so many mistakes in the beginning, but the seriously understaffed portion was their customer service. Their customer service never answered the phone for 10 days. If you texted them, you'd wait anywhere from 4 hours to 2 days for them to answer your text. Never got to speak to an individual. And as the trip went along, because I had travel insurance through Delta, I would buy a little bit of clothes here and there. Now, we weren't staying in major cities, and I'm 6'5", 250 pounds. I wear size 15 shoes. Finding those things in Europe were almost impossible. So out of the 10-day trip, I wasted 3 days just incrementally having to drive to towns to shop. As I said, they never answered the phone. When I did get text back, their agents would say, we can't even get a hold of the baggage service department. So the baggage service department never answered them either. And because they were so understaffed, baggage services, even though they're more than happy to charge full fare and send people to Europe, only operated on Eastern US time. So I'd have to wait until later in the afternoon to even begin to try to reach out to them, which was always unsuccessful. So when I got home, and everything was in my bag, everything. Camera, I own a publishing company. I was going to do a book on Italy for my wife and to celebrate her birthday. And all my medications, because I was recently diagnosed with cancer and I had a lot of pain. I had my critical medications in my carry-on. But the pain medications, sleep medications, all those things, everything was gone. So when I got back to the United States, I wrote no less than 4 different letters to Delta Airlines, to their head of customer service, Allison Ausband, to their chairman, Ed Bastian, their president, Glenn Howenstein, and their head of marketing, Tim Mapes, because Delta actually has an ad that runs that I'm sure your viewers can find very easily, talking about how empathetic they are, and it's not the weight of their airlines, it's the size of their empathy that really makes them a better airline. So I never got a response, but when my first letter finally hit them, instantly my bag appeared back at Delta, where the baggage service man said, I don't know, is this your bag? He's on the phone. Is this 2 weeks after I returned? Is this your bag? I don't know. Sent the bag to my home in the middle of a rainstorm in the middle of the night. So it sat outside. Camera equipment, everything in the thing. So once obviously they got my letter, they had no problem finding my bag. They found it like in a day after finding my letter and getting it to me. After that, they never responded. I asked for actually 8 million miles. A Delta mile is worth 1.3 cents. This trip cost me tens of thousands of dollars. I lost 3 days. So I asked for a lot of miles back. I eventually winnowed down my offer to settle this thing to just give me my miles back that I used on this trip. I used almost 500,000 miles for this trip. They have not responded once. Zero response from the chairman, from the president, from the head of customer service, and everybody else at the airline. Instead, a secretary once reached out to me, and she was very pleasant, and then listened to my story, and then referred my complaint to the baggage department, the very same people who didn't do it, who caused all the problem. I said, please don't do that. Let a decision maker who is competent make this decision. I was very nice and polite in all my emails and letters, which never got responded to. And instead, they offered me a $1,000 coupon for a flight within 1 year as compensation. And I am still ballistic over this complete lack of customer service. Moving just a hair forward in time, because I know these videos should be short, is the chairman sent everybody who's a Delta flyer a beautiful email at the beginning of November saying how they are hiring tens of thousands of people and training tens of thousands of people to be ready for the holiday season so their customer service will be good. That's an admission that in October, this trip is in October, right before November, that they were completely understaffed and couldn't do a thing. And I was very nice in my letters. I said, I know you're understaffed, but you've got to make this right. Delta has refused to make this right. Adding insult to injury, the insurance that I bought through Delta only covers true reimbursement for the clothes and things you need to buy if your bag is lost. But because they returned my bag to me 2 weeks after my trip, they considered it, a delayed bag, and gave me $600 off of a $3,000 expenses that I had incurred on this trip, much less losing 3 days of a very important trip and not being able to sleep. So I'm a pissed consumer, and I'm really angry at Delta Airlines. Their customer service has become abysmal, and if they can't staff properly, cut back the flights and don't charge full price. The reason why I decided to go public with this is because I've given them every opportunity, and very civilly so, to respond back to me. I've said, please do things right. Please reach out to me. Please let someone talk to me. I have not spoken to one single individual at Delta Airlines. Figure during the trip, there was probably 40, 50 requests. After the trip, very lengthy letters, detailed letters, all the documentation, not one single response other than, we're going to send this over to our baggage department and they'll do something for you. And I reached out to them immediately and said, don't do that. Send me to anyone else in the organization so I can talk to them and explain my situation. And they refused. They didn't respond. So that's a refusal. So at some point, if it's like talking to a tree that doesn't care, I had to go public with this. I have to warn other people that Delta Airlines is not staffed adequately to provide service. And if that's the case, are they staffed for mechanical issues? I mean, who knows where their staffing issues end?